Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Konadra here. Welcome back to Formula One 2019 as we begin week number 3 in our F1 career. We are heading out of Bahrain and I believe into China, but we need to finish up this Bahrain weekend, and that means going in and spending some resource points. As you can see, we are still second to last in the charts. This all apparently got a little bit of a balancing due to a recent patch to the game. As the actual real-life F1 2019 season goes on, until the end of that season, they go through and do some changes to the cars, balancing their aero and their power and all that kind of stuff to reflect what actually happens to them throughout the season. So apparently this week we should see some slight changes with the cars. I don't know if that's good or bad for us, really. But as far as R&D goes, we were working on the chassis and the aero. We had a failure in the chassis upgrade, so we need to redo that at 245 points. And then, as far as I know, the aero stuff won't be ready until next race? Or was it 3? I'm not sure. It's a 2 week. So yeah, it should be ready for us in China. I'm not going to go for a power upgrade just yet. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this general maintenance durability upgrade. It's 10% to everything on the car. That's a 500 point thing. Seems like a no-brainer. I know I'm going to have problems with the car. Like, there's no way we're going to make it through this season without gearbox issues or battery store, energy store issues. It's going to happen. But if we throw, a thing or two at it here and there, you never know where the car might be. And I don't know how committed I am to driving at Alpha for all of my career. And oh no, I've just given myself 311 resource points, and that's not a great sign. However, we're still at the Bahrain weekend, therefore that weekend was already cursed, and we don't have to worry about it. That's the excuse I'm going to tell myself. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you don't watch me on Twitch. Oh, anyway, all right, let's get out of here, end this weekend, which was a bit of a bummer, and move on to the next one. All right, so into China we go, and I am working on a baseline setup. Now, this is one of those things that I knew was going to be a danger. I didn't previously show me doing much setup work in the videos because it's a Pandora's box situation. Anytime you start talking about setup and game theory, people get a little aggressive with things. So keep in mind, I'm setting the car up for how I drive, and how I drive isn't perfect. I am not a perfect driver, as well demonstrated in the last race, and for my own personal preference as well. So everybody has a feel that they're looking for. And the feel that I'm always looking for is a car that turns in very well, and a car that has some reward to it.
Strategy and race objectives,
Jeff, why?
press the MFD
Jeff,
button
please.
to open the multifunction display.
This
And then
is
press it again to cycle through till you reach the strategy and objective screen.
almost as bad as overly aggressive YouTube comments. Anyway, yeah, just looking for the right balance for me, and it's going to take time to develop. But honestly, I don't think it was a setup issue that I was having issues with in Bahrain. I think it was a brain issue. I'm going to go out for the track acclimatization on the hard compounds here to make sure I get a feel for what this place is like on the hard compounds. I think maybe I slacked off a little too much on practicing with the different compounds in previous weeks. So let's make sure we're still doing that. Alright, China, one of my favorite tracks on the calendar. I like that it's so early in the season. We start with a couple harder tracks, and then we move here to a track I'm usually pretty darn good with. Let's see if we're good enough with the driving line according to what the game wants. This is one of those tracks that I think I typically kind of just take my own line around, and the game isn't always a big fan of that. A bit of wheel spin there. Certainly harder to do this program on the hard tire, but like I said, I want to try and get a feel for them. so I know what to expect in the future. Almost missed that gate. Gotta miss this one. There's no way. Yeah. I'll have to do a couple laps here, which is fine. Especially on these tires, it'll be fine. Birds. Wouldn't be an F1 recording if there wasn't thunder in the background, and there is. Wow, I can't believe I got purple on that one. They definitely made these easier in this game, which is extremely welcome. They were... This program in particular was just not very much fun to do in the last game. Break just before the 100, I think. Could have got more than that, but I gotta find my place there. My whole life is basically just a game of trying to find my place. But not too bad. We can do better. Shaky, shaky. I'm surprised that wasn't purple, but that's okay. Get turned in. Again, the car actually feels... Oh, I thought that was out. I think I clipped it with my left rear tire. The car feels a lot better than the cars I drove in 2018. In many ways, I feel like this car drives better than our, like, completely upgraded cars from the 2018 seasons. A little rev heavy there. Try and find the gear spacing. That's always my most awkward turn around this track. This one can be a little weird too. There's other cars out here not on hards. They're going to be rocketing by us. Not bad, not bad. Okay, looks like he's just staying put for right now. That was good. Probably didn't need to go down to first there. Look, grass. Never hurt anybody. He totally has. He kind of trailed off at the end. That might not be enough. Hey, it was the perfect amount. Very nice. Alright, we'll let you through here. And yeah, I did have the weight reduction put on the car this week. And probably the aero upgrade as well. I didn't actually look at that stuff. It's easier to look at after the race weekend, actually. Alright, we're going to work on the race program right now, just to kind of get a feel for if the setup is working at an actual race pace. The acclimatization doesn't always show that. You might get fooled into thinking it's fine, but it's not actually fast enough. So we shall see. Bouncy, bouncy. Like I could probably still get a little bit more into there. I think it's also important to try and get a good gauge of where your comfort zone is in this program. That's one thing that I think I have kind of struggled with a bit. Sometimes I do these race programs like I should be racing and the pace that I should have, but then in the race, ooh, I just watched right there. In the race, I get, I don't know, encouraged, and I start to feel like I can get more, and I drive much harder in the race than I do in practice. And then I'm not used to pushing the car to the limits, and then I step over those limits on occasion, and I have incidents like we had at Bahrain. So it's probably worth it to really push myself here, even if it means, you know, failing a program or having to do more laps. At least I'll have that experience under my belt. It's one of those things that's a philosophy I apply to a lot of things, is you have to push yourself to the point of failure, or you won't know how to handle yourself close to the edge. That was pretty good. Too much, alright. Still fighting the brakes a little bit. That was one of the things that I certainly struggled to get a point across, is just my struggles with the brakes and why I tend to run the kind of brake biases and pressures that I do. That's another one of those things that is different for everybody, and it's certainly different if you use ABS or don't, and if you have like load cell pedals, or if you're using a controller. There's so many variables there. But I am like, I would say I am no more than an eighth of the way down on the brake pedal in those light load turns and locking brakes. It's also something to consider that locking brakes isn't the end of the world. Sometimes you just gotta let a tire slide here or there. Because if you go too far, you end up A, heating the rear tires too much, and B, making the car too uncomfortable on turn-in. But if there's one thing I generally feel pretty good about with my driving style, drifting? No, definitely not that. It's that I feel like I have a good sense of turn-in, and I like a car that turns in real aggressive. Out in the real world, that's one of those things I've always battled with my autocross car, the 240, versus other cars I've driven, like Miatas, like, trying to think, there was another car that turned in really well. I drove a couple different Miatas. Okay. I drove a Focus ST at one point, but 240, it always just kind of, it feels just a bit vague and a bit numb on turn-in. It takes a while for the suspension to load up, I guess, and feel like it's gripped in. I've even driven a couple different 240s, and other ones, you know, had a much more aggressive turn-in than mine, and I really like that about them. I like cars that are very darty and pointy for that kind of thing. It gives me the confidence to believe in it enough to really push it into the turns. I've used my battery power up to do this program, which is alright. Bit wide there. I get out of there really well. Bit wide in last turn, but overall that was a pretty good job for this program. And then I'm digging like way back into the memory banks here. I knew it was a problem when the very first F1 series I used to do was with a fine gentleman named Jolo, and we actually autocrossed together. That's where we met each other, was through autocross, and he drove my car during an event. And I very vividly remember, I'll try to find the clip of this, but I vividly remember him shouting, "It does nothing!" while, like, cartoonishly shaking the steering wheel back and forth.
Hey, Brandon, I got a question for you. Yeah. What is this thing for? This doesn't do anything. I was like, oh yeah, Miata. Oh! I was like, okay, it's still going straight. Still going straight. Still going straight.
And that's one of those feelings that I get in sim racing too, is sometimes a car just like, it just feels like the steering wheel doesn't respond quick enough for me. Not in steering rate, just in the way that it like loads up and hooks into the turns. I'm gonna try and do a practice pit entry because this is a pretty difficult track for that. Looking at you, young Lewis Hamilton. Let's see if I can, since we're kind of just on a dummy lap here, let's see how far we can break into this turn. Let's go like full throttle. Okay, that's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's almost full pedal. Where is this line? Yep, you see they paved all this out here for some reason. Alright, well, since I have that bit of knowledge under my cap. Alright, pretty good practice so far. I'm going to do some more, and then we'll probably head out to qualifying. I feel like this is a track that I'm good enough at. There's no excuse. We got to make it Q2 this week.
Welcome to Shanghai, China, for what I've no doubt is going to be a fantastic F1 qualifying session.
Alright, I've been dreading this day since I made the commitment to not do traction control. I knew there was going to be rain eventually. Let's look at the weather. Nah, it's just drizzling the whole time. Gonna dry out within like 15 minutes? It is. It's gonna dry out towards the end of the session. Well, I think I need to go... Oh, I just smashed my elbow into the whiteboard next to me. I think I need to go out and just do laps. This is a 17-minute session. It's going to start to dry out towards 15 minutes. Yeah, I feel like I just need to go out there and be doing laps and adapting to driving without TC in the rain. This is just a learning experience now. Certainly won't be setting times that are quick, but we'll just be learning some. I've never been terribly good in the rain at all, and it's going to be even more difficult now. Maybe it'll actually make more sense. I don't know. Maybe that traction control was holding back in the rain. I highly doubt it. But with the session that's supposed to be getting drier, one would expect that the end of the session, like the last laps turned, will be the quickest laps of the session. I don't know if it's going to go like dry enough for dry tires. Kind of depends on when it stops raining. So far this hasn't been too bad. I honestly expected a bit worse, but it is only a drizzle. It's not a full rain condition. There's actually a dry line still on the track. I'm out into the water now. I've just been curious to how I stack up, because previously the AI have been just untouchable in the rain for me. A decent showing here or there, but nothing fantastic. China is good for this. Overall, you see rain in this game a lot more than they see rain in real life. Somebody just posted today how long it's been since we've had a rain Grand Prix, and it's been a minute. It's been a while. Not even bothering to use high engine modes because it's just going to be more wheel spin. So we get, you know, down a straightaway basically. Well, I didn't wreck, so that's nice. 1.7 back, that's respectable for our very first lap. It should be getting quicker for a few laps as the dry line really gets bedded in. These cars in front of me are gonna ruin this lap attempt. Nah, I started to overdrive it anyway. Well, don't beach the thing or anything. Alright. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna sit out here and keep doing laps. I'll bring you back when it looks like the session's coming to an end, and if it's drying out or not, that's gonna be a big call.
There's only one.
So still turning laps, and with 10 minutes to go, it has actually stopped raining completely. So give it 5 minutes, this track's gonna really turn around, I think. So I'll just come in after this lap and be waiting for the dry tires to tick over. Basically, it's gonna be a game of how late can I start my lap attempt. 6 minutes to go. The dries haven't taken over yet, but they're about to. How long is a lap here? About a minute 40, right? Somewhere in that range. So let's say it takes us 2 minutes to get out for a lap. If we go out right now, we'll probably have time to do 2, so let's do that. Ignore and go to track. We are on the dries, right? Right. So, flying lap. Let's hope we have enough time for 2. That would make me happy. Currently, we're sitting in P10, but times are about to drop like crazy. Oh, it looks like I probably will have time for 2. Yeah, we'll be okay. As you can see how much the track dried in that short amount of time. It's just not going to be perfect this lap. The last lap will be the best lap for tires. I just wanted to get a lap under my belt before I had to really, perform. So I'm not even going to be using high energy mode this lap. Let's see how much time we've already made up. Like I said, it's certainly not perfect yet. Can't really get the throttle down right there. As long as we conserve enough energy, we'll be able to do 2 laps with relative ease. I'm not going to run these tires in too hard either. I may have gone out a little bit too early, but hopefully not terribly so. Other cars have already done their first flyer.
Some information on Hulkenberg. They're retiring from the race.
I mean, it's not the race yet, but that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen. Unless he crashed. Are they cheering because they see me on a purple lap? Sounds like it. Hey, P1. Alright, here we go. Don't blow it. So much cheering. They're definitely up. But yeah, you can see they're gonna go quicker than we did. Now some of that's just because of battery mode. Then a wheel spin right there. Nice, kept it nice and tight there. It's a good thing to do. Gonna be a bit rude to the engine here, but we gotta go. Good sector 2. Sector 2 has been my strong point with this car. We're gonna get down there on energy. That's going to be tight. We're gonna regain some down here. Alright, we'll be first across the line, basically, to complete the session. I'm really quite pleased with the lap. 39.0. 15th. I can never remember if 15th is good enough or not. 15th was my optimal result for the weekend. Why can I never remember? 15th is good enough. Yes! Alright, first Q2. Here we go. We don't have to do anything in Q2. I've already done everything I needed to. Ah, very nice. I think we're very lucky that Hulkenberg had a problem. Alright, now for Q2 here, this will inevitably be the end of our qualifying here today. Looks like the weather might be rolling back in as well. Cloud cover approaching. Yeah, it could rain by Q3, but we don't have any... There's no Q3 in our future. I'm going to go out here, I'm going to do a lap, I'm going to try my very best, and we'll see where it puts us. But 15th is already exceeding expectations and is a very good result for us indeed. So let's just put in a lap here with basically no pressure and see what we can do. Track should be in even better shape right now. Kind of giving that car front a bit of room here. And the DRS. Shaky wheel. Okay, turn, please turn. That turn is so long. It used to be a really tricky one for me, but I've adapted to it. I've really started to learn and enjoy this circuit. Still not as much as Korea. Korea was one of my favorites of the newer F1 tracks, and I missed that one quite a lot. But this one's probably my current favorite. And just singing the engine there to get it to blow up. Sun was peeking through there for a second. 34, so yeah, the track's definitely gotten notably quicker as it's dried out completely. And I don't really feel like I've gone quicker. I have enough tire to do 2 laps, but I don't think I'd have enough energy. Yeah, there's no way. Battery will be depleted. That's okay. Wherever we are, we are. And at this point, wherever we are is a positive. That was a nice run through the last turn. 34, 35, 1.1 down to Verstappen, so probably gonna end up 15th. 40% battery, yeah. I mean, I could go out and do another run, but I just feel like it's unnecessary. We're only fighting, you know, for 14th instead of 15th, I do believe. So, yeah, I think I'm just gonna move forward, keep a little wear off the car, and see where we end up.
There's only 1 lap of fuel.
That's pretty darn good. P13, only a few hundredths behind Kimi there. We would have had to pick up about 2/10 to make it into Q1, which is doable. I think it was within reason, but I think we'd really be stretching it, so I didn't feel like it was necessary. Very happy with that. Very happy with that. Devin Butler right behind us. Couple Brits right behind us there, and Kimi right in front of us. I'm pretty ecstatic. I think that all went really well. Hey, an interview.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it.
Let's have it.
It's been a great qualifying session for you. Are you going to carry that momentum into the race?
Let's see. Great strategy. Should get us plenty of points. Chassis departments. Yes, we want to make them
It's the
happy.
start of the season. How do you think things are going to go for you?
Okay, well that's good. It wasn't the
The
sportsmanship
weather
I was
hasn't
looking
been
for.
ideal in qualifying. What's your take on it?
Sure. Oh, that's Showman. I read that
Great. Well, that's everything.
wrong. All right. Well, at least we got a good chassis department upgrade, or an upgrade, a bonus. And Haas likes us a little bit more. Haas has not been too happy with us because we keep skipping practice programs, but they can deal with it. Deal with it. All right. How is this shaping up? 11 to 9, or 12 to 9 now. Okay, well, it is what it is. There's that little bit of a bump. Very good. All right. I think we can call that a successful qualifying.
Successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
It's a little sad that I can predict that. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and come back tomorrow for the race. That was a weird outro. I'm a weird person. Bye.